So then the next one is the Dutch test. That one's the most kind of complex because it's not a one and done type thing. It's something where you've got to do things over the course of the whole day. So when you open it, you'll see vials and little. Don't touch the paper pads. Hold them at the sides. You'll see them when I'm talking. Those are the urine collection pads. They're little. They look like glorified pregnancy tests, basically. So
Okay.
so we'll start with the vials, and there's an instruction sheet there for the vials, and Dutch also has a great instructional videos on how to do this also, and I think they even point to their instruction collections in their kit. So there's a whole video training based on the lab themselves also. So if you can just pull up the little vials and then the instructions for the vials.
These?
Yes. Oh. Huh. They changed their vials. Okay. They used to be much smaller. Okay. Is that urine? Wait. Is that urine? Hold on. Do they have little pads in there anymore? Did they change their whole collection thing on me?
There's no pad. Is there pads?
Are there other littler vials?
No.
There's 6 vials. Bedtime sample.
60-minute plus sample, 30-minute plus sample,
Okay.
4 to 5 p.m. sample, waking sample.
Okay. Are there any? So what else is in the box that came with it? Are those little pads there? Those green things you're holding in your hand? Those things.
Okay.
Those are yes. Okay. That is the urine collection pads. Those little things.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. So let's.
It says a waking sample.
Yeah. So when there should be a chart that they give with you that shows like the timing, that'll show urine and saliva. There should be an instruction sheet there with it that'll have that one of those. No, that's a questionnaire.
Oh, instructions.
Instructions, yes. So if you open it up, you should see a thing there that shows a side-by-side timetable.
Yeah, probably this.
Yes, that is exactly it. Okay, yeah. So this test is more involved. It can appear to look complicated. It looks way more complicated than it actually is because all you're really doing is just you're spitting into a vial or you're peeing on a little piece of paper. And you repeat that several times over the day, and that is it. So and it's really about just getting organized. And I encourage you to do a mock day, like where you just have everything out, but you don't collect the samples. You just do a mock day where I wake up. First thing I do in the morning when I wake up, like the very first thing, is I reach over, grab the morning little vial that you have, and it's like you just collect whatever 1 to 3 mils, I can't remember, and then you go through the mock thing of writing the time of it, and then you set your timer for 30 minutes, and then you do it again 30 minutes later, and then you do it again 30 minutes later with the saliva collection.
Okay, so the plus 60 is actually 60 minutes from waking up, not
Correct.
60 minutes for plus 30.
Correct. That's a real important distinction. So what I do is when people wake up, I have them first just hit the 30-minute timer, and then they collect the sample, and then et cetera, and then 30 minutes later when the alarm goes off, you just pick up and collect your sample because technically you're still tracking the 30 minutes perfectly from the moment you started collecting the sample, and the moment you start collecting the 30-minute one, it's like it's all in the same thing. Now you got to collect the morning salivas within the first 5 minutes because they're trying to catch that window of cortisol before it spikes up in the 30-minute mark. This is the CAR, the cortisol awakening response. So when you wake up, your cortisol is at one level, and then as soon as you open your eyes and lights hit your eye, you engage in a micro stress response. This is just how the physiology works. and your cortisol should jump by 50 to 100% in that first 30 minutes. Now, that's why we want to catch before the jump.
Right.
And then on the 30-minute mark, we catch the jump. And then the next 30-minute mark, we watch the descending slope back into the normal morning cortisol. And the significance of this, it's a very, for 30-something years, it was just, you know, it was just you wake up an hour later, you take your cortisol, and then you take it the mid-morning, mid-afternoon, and evening. For years, it was just that. Then they discovered this cortisol awakening response. And the reason why it's significant is that if people have hyper-responsive or under-responsive or inverted responsive stress response in that 30 minutes, if you don't get that 50 to 100% spike, that means your resilience to stress is dysregulated. I had one client, she went up 400, I remember the number, 437% in that first 30 minutes. And she was one anxious human being, and it showed on that. And the good news is that from that test response, she finally took it seriously that she really was truly anxious and needed to get professional help to deal with her anxiety. So there's other things you can do, like sunlight exposure, blood sugar control, all the other lifestyle stuff. We talk about better sleep environment, remove really horrible loud alarms, you know, things you can do. So that's the intention behind it. That's why there are these extra samples. And then through the rest of the day, it's pretty straightforward. Is you collect saliva at the appointed time. Now, in your case, I think you have an extra sample there as well, an extra collection sample.
One more vial.
Say it again.
One extra vial.
Yeah, one extra.
sample.
Yeah, and do they have the instructions there with you on the requisition on the extra vial?
Well, there's one that says optional. That's probably.
Yeah. So you've got they didn't. Yeah. Did they include something on the requisition on the timing of that? Because they should have included something.
You see it? Just okay. It says overnight insomnia saliva. Let me see. Oh, well, it says collect saliva immediately at the time of your sleep disturbance.
Yeah. So it's all right. So when I sent the message to, I'm literally just looking at. I'm literally looking at the email I sent to Dutch. That extra saliva is your noon sample. That's the one you do. When do you normally eat lunch?
Around 12.
Okay, so you would collect that. Your most tired point between 10 and 12 in the afternoon.
Are you saying?
It's not the afternoon. We're talking about morning. It's in 10 and 12 in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah, morning. Yeah. So this is something that so you sure you don't see anything there about saying that this is the optional noon sample? There's no writing in there at all.
Are you saying on my instructions or on my requisition?
You know, I'm not sure because this is I requested them to put something on there. I would think it would be mentioned somewhere.
Well, there's like a insomnia cortisol that's ticked here.
Yeah, it's ticked. I think what they've done is they've shoehorned. They shoehorned the insomnia sample. They shoehorned the paperwork for a noon sample. So I have to contact William at Dutch and give him some feedback that the requisition is confusing. It should be saying noon sample, not insomnia sample.
It says cortisol collection, and it says that when you wake up and have a sleep disturbance, you're supposed to take the sample.
Which does not happen for me.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm literally looking at my email. It says, "Hi, William. It's a DUTCHplus with no insomnia, but that extra noon sample. Cheers, Sam." And so I'm literally just cross-checked my email just to make sure that I wasn't crazy. So
yeah, I'm not seeing any unless I'm just missing it, but I don't think so.
Okay, so the thing is that this is totally salvageable. All you got to do is on the requisition itself, you cross off the word that says midnight, and you say noon sample. You just cross off, say noon sample. Yeah.
On the
yeah, exactly. Yeah, right where it says midnight, cross that off, say noon sample, and when you collect your vial, you just put the time on there that says noon sample, and you make sure that it says AM, because you'll be collecting it before noon, and you can even write a note there saying like within hours, like noon sample, not midnight sample. I'm very sorry about that. That's an issue at the Dutch level, that level of confusion. So I will be contacting William about this.
And I should just write on this extra vial what time, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just write on there.
Got it.
So that's a saliva collection. Again, it's the organization of it all that is the most complex part. Doing it is literally as easy as spitting into a tube. Yeah, it's nothing complicated there. If you have dry mouth, then you can have a cut lemon to smell, or think of a cut lemon, or run your tongue along the inside of your teeth to help, and especially the bottom, to help generate and squeeze out more saliva. If you're having trouble generating saliva,
I don't think that.
Obviously, don't have any food or anything in your mouth, when you're before doing it or anything. So, any questions on the saliva collections?
Oh,
okay.
Seems easy.
So, one other thing to note is that on the evening, not the insomnia sample, on the evening sample, what time does it say there to collect it?
Let me look. It says 10 to midnight.
Okay. What time do you normally go to bed?
About 10.
Okay. Yeah. I tell people, some people they've stayed up later than their normal time to do this test, which is a mistake. I want people to do it either when they go to bed or 10 o'clock, whichever comes first.
Okay.
That's what I'm aiming at. Any questions on the saliva samples?
Nope, and I just noticed now some of those are urine, so you.
We're going to do the urine. We're going to do the urine section just right after the saliva. So no questions on the saliva. Otherwise, we can go to. We've already covered pooping in a cup. We'll now do peeing in a pan. Okay. So if you look at the little thin pads, like they're really thin. They're literally paper thin because that's what they are. It's a special absorbent paper. So if you can just hold them up real quick to the. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So you don't. Yeah, that's perfect. So the thing that you flipped out, that has a little white pad there, that with no writing, that is where the urine collects onto that thing. So what you do is that I believe you want to write out everything ahead of time, so that you want, and then the ink dries and whatever. Then what you do is that you collect, you either collect in a clean pan and you just kind of dunk it, that absorbent part in, and then what you do is it's in a way you just let it sit out to air dry. You let it sit out to air dry for, I can't remember how many hours it says it there.
24 hours.
Yeah. And the only risk you run is pets and small children thinking it's some sort of art project. And they start to pick it up, drop it, whatever. And you just have them just dry on the sill or whatever, or somewhere out of reach. And then when it's all dry, like the next day is really easy. You just go and you literally just tuck it back, close it, and you put it in the little bag in the box, and you're done. I mean, that's it. And it's the same concept where you just collect it at certain times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then you mail all of these things together, all in one, and you just mail the dried urine pads, the refrigerated saliva sample. It's the refrigerated or frozen, I can't remember. It'll say on the thing what to do with it. I think they're frozen. I can't remember.
Timing wise. Never mind, here it says. On cycle timing. Between days 19 and 22.
Yeah, so if you're doing your cycle, you're talking about females, menstruating females who are doing this test should do this between days 19 and 22 of their cycle. You can do the other tests in the meantime if it's not, if you're a week or two away from your cycle.
So it doesn't matter where I'm going.
The ion, there is only one marker in the entire test that fluctuates with a woman's cycle, and there is no way to. And the good news is that's buffered by 2 other markers that check for the same thing. So it's the only when Dr. Lord tested the mitochondria portion of that ion test, he had everyone in the lab do it every other day. And that one marker stood out as being utterly unreliable for menstruating females only. For men, it was reliable. For postmenopausal women, it was reliable because there was no fluctuation in hormones affecting the liver in that way. But there are 2 other markers straddling it, so we don't actually need that marker for menstruating women, so we don't have to worry about it. Sorry, there's a bit more technical I think was necessary, but it was just this is a question that has come up before, and so obviously this has come up before. So that's pretty much it with how to do all the tests. Any questions?